What's up guys, today I have a Wi-Fi battle for you guys and this is an OU match against Abdallah. Also before we begin, if you can, make sure to hit that like button, it helps out a ton, and let's see if we can reach 650 likes. We broke the like goal in our previous Wi-Fi battle, so let's see if we can do that now as well. So I'm using the same Mega Charizard X team as he's using a Mega Scizor team. Now looking at his team, Mega Charizard X can demolish his team once the Landorus and the Vaporeon are weakened. So let's see how this goes. So I'm gonna lead off with my Greninja as he's gonna lead off with his Ferrothorn. I just do not want to take the Rocky Helmet plus Iron Barb's damage by going for the U-turn, so I'm gonna directly switch into my Conkeldurr as he's gonna get up his Stealth Rocks, and now I'm free to go for the knockoff on his incoming Landorus. And even after the attack drop, it is gonna do a very decent amount of damage, and I knock off his Choice Scarf, which means that he's an offensive Landorus, and an Earthquake from an offensive Landorus will at least do half to my Conkeldurr. So I'm gonna go into my Skarmory as he's gonna U-turn out into his Delphox. And in this entire match, the only thing this Delphox does is scare my Skarmory out, so I do not want to take the fire type move, so I'm gonna go into my Latias as he's gonna go for the Mystical Fire, which is gonna do a decent amount of damage. And now I'm gonna make a double switch into my Conkeldurr, predicting his Ferrothorn to come in on my Latias as he's actually gonna go into his Vaporeon, expecting me to go for the Hidden Power Fire, predicting his Ferrothorn to come in, which is a good play. But now again I'm gonna go for the free knockoff on this Landorus, and slowly this Landorus is getting worn down. So now I'm gonna predict him to go for the U-turn, so I'm gonna stay in and go for the double knockoff as he's gonna go into Scizor. And as he's a Mega Scizor, I cannot knock off the Mega Stone, so now I'm gonna go into my Skarmory as Skarmory basically evolves Scizor, and there is nothing this Scizor can do to me. So he's gonna Mega Evolve and go for the Swords Dance, which is fine by me as now I can phase him out or set up my own Stealth Rocks because he does have that Dragonite and the Delphox. So I'm gonna predict him to go into his Delphox, that's why I'm gonna phase him out into his Scizor once again, and we're kinda in a loophole. So instead of going for the Whirlwind this turn, I'm gonna get up my Stealth Rocks as he's gonna go into his Ferrothorn, and I know that he might carry a Thunder Wave, so instead of going into my Latias and trying to defog his entry hazards, I'm gonna go into my Conkeldurr, which is my safest play, and I do not want my Pokemon to be crippled, so he does go for the T-Wave. And now I'm gonna predict him to stay in as all this time I had been going for the knockoff, and I do get that right. He does stay in and goes for the Lead Seed as I'm gonna get nice 90% damage with the Drain Punch. And now his Ferrothorn is quite weakened and he's gonna get some health with the Leftovers and the Lead Seed, which is fine by me because he's at a point where a Mach Punch will be able to take him out. So I'm gonna predict him to go into his Landorus and go for the Ice Punch as he switches into this Delphox, and I get paralyzed. So it really didn't change anything, but I would have liked some damage on this Delphox because damage is damage. But now I'm gonna go into my Latias as he's gonna go for the Solar Beam, predicting me to go into my Greninja. I'm not gonna lie, but I was really close to going into my Greninja, but I had no reason to go into my Greninja and make such a risky play when clearly I had this Latias to take the hit. So he's gonna switch into his Vaporeon as I'm gonna get all of my HP back with the Recover, and I do have my Conkeldurr for this Vaporeon. He cannot touch me as I do have the Assault Vest, and I can get all of my HP back with the Drain Punch. So he's gonna go for the Ice Beam as it's not gonna do too much damage, and a Scald will not be able to knock me out. So he's gonna go into his Landorus as I am gonna go for the knockoff, which almost kills him, but he's gonna save this Landorus as a dead fodder and go into his Ferrothorn just to get a bit more damage on my Conkeldurr. And this is a really good play on his part because after the Iron Barb's damage, his Vaporeon will be able to knock out my Conkeldurr with the Scald, and he's gonna do just that and go into his Vaporeon, and he will be able to knock me out with the Scald. Now this Vaporeon is kinda a problem as it's so bulky, so I'm gonna go into my Thundurus and hit this thing up with a Thunderbolt as it's not gonna kill because I'm not Life Orbed, I'm Leftovers, and he's gonna knock me out with the Ice Beam. But now he's at a point where my Greninja will be able to take him out. So I'm gonna go for the Protein Life Orb boosted Extra Sensory, and I get the lowest damage roll, and he's gonna knock me out with the Scald. So this Vaporeon was a problem. Now Erza can finally put this thing's life to end with the Dragon Pulse, and I'm gonna take out this Vaporeon. So he's gonna bring in his Dragonite, and I know that the Dragon Pulse will not be able to knock out this Dragonite, and I fear that he might be a weakness policy set. So I'm gonna go into my Skarmory as he hits me up with the extreme speed, which is not gonna do too much damage, and next turn I expected him to go for the Fire Punch, but he's gonna switch out. Now the only reason why you would switch out against a Skarmory on a Dragonite is either because you do not have Fire Punch, or you are Choice Banded and you're logged into extreme speed. So he's gonna go into his Scizor instead of going into his Delphox, probably predicting me to go for the Whirlwind, but I'm gonna go for the Brave Bird as he's gonna hit me up with a Bullet Punch, and then he's gonna follow up with the Swords Dance. And this whole time he was probably thinking that I will phase him out as he tries to go into his Delphox, but I'm just gonna go for the Brave Birds to get some damage on the Scizor as he's gonna hit me up with the Bullet Punch, and this turn I am gonna phase him out, and I phase him out into his Landorus, which is really bad for me as he's gonna get a free switch into that Delphox, and that Delphox is gonna scare out my Skarmory. Now this Skarmory is one of my win conditions because I need this thing to wall his Dragonite. So I'm gonna go into my Latias as always, and he's gonna go for the Mystical Fire, and he's gonna drop my special attack once again, and I need to take this Delphox out because my Skarmory cannot function until this Delphox is around. So he's gonna go for one more Mystical Fire, and I am gonna go for the Dragon Pulse just to see how much damage it does to this Delphox, and it's not gonna do too much damage after the special attack drops, and he's constantly hitting me up with these Mystical Fires. Now I need to play as if his Dragonite is Choice Banded, because a Choice Banded Dragonite can take out my Latias from the point of HP it is at, and it can also take out my Charizard after the Stealth Rocks. So I'm gonna go for the Defog to get rid of the Stealth Rocks, as he's gonna bring in the Scizor probably as a dead fodder, and I'm gonna take this thing out with a Dragon Pulse, which is gonna give him the free switch into his Dragonite, and I'm gonna go into my Skarmory, which he is gonna predict nicely and nail me with a Fire Punch. And looking at the damage the Fire Punch did to me, he's definitely a Choice Banded Dragonite, so he's gonna take me out with one more Fire Punch, as basically I have the game with my Charizard and he's logged into Fire Punch. I can go into my Charizard and Mega Evolve and kill his Delphox with a Dragon Claw, and I win the game unless he gets a Super Mega Crit with the extreme speed. So I'm gonna take out his Delphox easily with a Dragon Claw, and his last is this Dragonite, and he's gonna go for the extreme speed, which is gonna do over half, and I'm gonna take him out with the Dragon Claw, as Acnologia is known to kill things. So that's a 2-0 victory in my favor. Hope you guys enjoyed this awesome match. I would have probably lost the game if I hadn't gone for the Defog on the right moment with my Latias, because Choice Banded Dragonite hits like a truck and it's not something to mess around with. But still, props to him for using stuff like Delphox, and I hope you guys enjoyed this match. If you did, make sure to leave a like and a comment down below answering the comment question of the day. So yeah, I'll see you guys next time, and thanks for watching.